So let's talk about Philadelphia. The city has this huge, really ambitious plan to deal with its affordable housing crisis. But the big question isn't just what they're going to do, it's how in the world are they going to pay for it? It turns out the city is at a major crossroads with two very, very different financial paths in front of it.
And this is really the heart of the matter. We're not talking about a handful of new apartments. This is a massive goal that could totally reshape the city. So let's break down this high-stakes decision Philadelphia has to make to turn this dream into a reality.
I mean, just let that number sink in for a second. 30,000 new affordable homes. That's the scale we're talking about here. It's a number that could seriously change lives and revitalize entire neighborhoods.
And, well, here's the other side of that coin. The estimated price tag for all those homes? A staggering $7.5 billion. That right there shows you just how massive this financial puzzle really is. So you gotta ask, right? How on earth does a city pull together that kind of cash? Well, the analysis we're digging into today says it basically boils down to two competing strategies, two different visions for how Philly should handle its money. Okay, so on one side, you've got the road well-traveled, traditional bonds. That's pretty much just borrowing a ton of money from Wall Street investors. But on the other side, there's this really innovative approach, creating a public bank that's funded by something called a land value tax. The difference is huge. One path sends city money out to Wall Street as interest payments. The other one, it's all about keeping that wealth right here and reinvesting it in Philadelphia.
So let's really dig into this new idea. It's not just one thing, it's actually two powerful parts, a public bank and a land value tax that work together like a single financial engine. So how does this thing actually work?
First up is the land value tax, or LVT. Now this is super interesting. An LVT isn't a tax on your house or the cool business you built. It's a tax purely on the value of the land underneath it, just the dirt. And that simple change has some pretty profound effects. And here are the two big impacts. First, by taxing empty lots, it makes it really expensive for speculators to just sit on valuable land, which helps bring land prices down for developers who actually want to build something. And second, it creates this super stable and predictable stream of money for the city, money it can then put to good use. And this is where the engine really kicks into gear. The city's own public bank takes that new, steady money from the land value tax and uses it to make loans incredibly cheap. It lets the bank offer developers who are building affordable housing these ultra-low-interest deals that a private bank just couldn't ever match. Okay, so that's the theory. But talk is cheap, right? How do these two models actually stack up against each other when you crunch the numbers? This is the core of what we're looking at today. The source material we're looking at does not mince words. This quote pretty much frames the whole comparison. It's a bold claim, saying this new way is fiscally superior. So let's see the data that backs that up. And right away, this chart tells a huge part of the story. With traditional bonds, the city's looking at an interest rate around 4%. With the public bank model, that new tax revenue is used to buy the interest rate all the way down to just 1%. Now, a 3% difference might not sound like a lot, but when you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars over decades, it's an absolute game changer. Now check out this table. For the exact same $800 million loan, look at the differences. The interest rate is 1% versus 4%. The loan term is cut in half, 15 years instead of 30. But the big one, the real key, is this last line, capital use. The bond is a one-and-done deal. The money spent, it's gone. The public bank, it creates a revolving fund, which means that money gets loaned out over and over again. Let's just focus on the total cost. You borrow $800 million the old way, using bonds. By the time you're done paying it off 30 years later, you've paid back over $1.7 billion. That means more than $900 million vanished into interest payments alone. Now compare that to the public bank and LVT model. That same $800 million loan is paid back in half the time, and the total cost is just over $900 million. We're talking about saving the city over $800 million in taxpayer money just on this one initial loan. But here's the thing, it's not even just about saving money on one deal. The real power of this public bank model, according to the analysis, is what happens next. It's designed to be a permanent engine for investment in the city. And this diagram just lays it out so clearly. It's what they call a virtuous cycle. The city collects the tax revenue, the bank makes a cheap loan, housing gets built, then And this is the most important part. The loan gets paid back to our own bank, not to some investor on Wall Street. And then what happens? Bam! Step 5. That exact same money is immediately ready to go back out the door and fund the next project. The money never has to leave the community.
So let's bring it all home. When you look at all the data, the analysis makes a really powerful case that this isn't just some technical financial decision. It's a real fork in the road, a fundamental choice about what kind of future the city wants to build.
This chart really puts it all into perspective, doesn't it? The public bank model, right out of the gate, could have a lending capacity of $3 billion. That gets the city about 40% of the way to its goal, just like that. The $800 million bond, on the other hand, covers just over 10% of the goal, which means you'd have to go back and take on massive new debt again and again.
And the benefits go way beyond just housing. By keeping all this capital local, the model aims to capture wealth created in the community. Avoid paying billions in fees to Wall Street, spark local businesses through construction, and create jobs right there in Philadelphia. It's really presented as a holistic approach to a healthier local economy. So in the end, the whole complex analysis really boils down to this one simple, powerful question. It frames the decision not just in terms of dollars and cents, but in terms of control, sustainability, and self-determination. It's a question that really makes you think about what path is truly best for the future of the city.